Welcome to the Conscious Radio Network. Become enlightened, have fun, and tell all your friends and family to share with everyone they know. You can watch us on YouTube and Rumble while following us on Facebook, or find us on X, Instagram, and TikTok. Our podcast can be found on Libsyn, iHeart, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and more. Most of all, remember to go to our official website at consciousradionetwork.com for past episodes, future shows, and scheduling. We also want to welcome our international audience. Don't stop now. Enjoy the community. Subscribe or follow today.
This is the Conscious Radio Network.
Good day, everybody, wherever you might be on this spaceship we call Earth. Welcome to Conscious Radio Network's The Seance Before the Veil. I'm your host, Reverend Dr. Paul Meckes. If this is your first time tuning in, please click like, subscribe, and definitely follow us wherever you listen to your podcasts. Today, empowering cancer prevention. She turned her personal battle with cancer into a mission to transform lives through holistic wellness. As a nutritionist and cancer coach, she believes her story can truly resonate with you. She found, how do you pronounce this? Awana?
Yes, Awana.
I'm good. Awana Health, a holistic care online platform where she offers practical and personalized holistic care options, including nutrition, movement therapy, mindfulness, community to people who have chronic issues such as cancer, hormonal problems, cardiovascular issues, and much, much, much more. Let's welcome to the seance, Shruti, Sethi. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sean. Dr. Paul.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. So going through, let's take us back in time. This journey, battling through this horrible disease that seems to be almost inevitable with what we're facing in today's environment.
Yeah.
How did you discover this holistic program through your trials?
It's completely like out of my own struggles. I was 34 years old back in 2016, and I got diagnosed. I got the diagnosis of cancer, stage 3 Hodgkin's lymphoma, a form of immune system cancer. And now, back then, I really didn't know what immune system was, and I had no idea that at such a young age I could contract cancer, because there was no family history of cancer in my lineage, on my family, mother's side, father's side. It was just not acceptable to me. And when you go to the doctors, of course, you don't get the proper reasons, and it's up to you to find out.
Yeah.
So I took that responsibility of understanding my own body's potential and really wanted to just live a cancer-free life. I mean, I get it. We go with the conventional treatment, but the real struggle actually starts afterwards, when you are just left alone and you have to figure out things by yourself. And I didn't want it to be in that state. You know, when I used to go to the hospital, I used to really talk to people and patients coming there. Second time relapse, third time relapse. Because I used to see their faces and their bodies. It was so depressing, the whole scenario. And I told myself I'm going to do anything and everything to combat this disease. And that's how I led into this, into the realm of holistic healing, where it's actually addressing your root cause. Why did the cancer really happen? What happens? We all have cancer cells. We all can kill our immune system's ability to cancer cells every day is quite strong. And when you're younger, it's more stronger. Then what happened? I had to trace my steps back and understand that my body was always giving signs and symptoms in the form of, I had like lot of inflammatory conditions going on. Like I had asthma, I had headaches. I had PCOD and hormonal imbalance. I had gut issues. I was extremely on the verge of getting depressed, and I had anxiety issues.
Mm.
I also was going through a divorce. Like, my relationship with my ex-husband was going through really down the drain, and I was very stressed. Though I was living a very, like, a very a designer life. Like, I was a fashion designer, and I was living a life of say extraordinary achievements and going all out and working, but I didn't have a work life balance at all. Like, I was just working because when you're young you can just go for it, not having
Yeah.
to do anything with sleep and like anything, just go to the doctor, get an injection, get a pill, and that's how you treat yourself. So I had to slow down, first of all, and I had to really accept whatever has happened to me. And it took a lot of time for me to understand that cancer has come for a reason. It is a sign that I need to slow down. I need to look within. I need to heal from within. While I was taking chemotherapy, I'm not saying no to the conventional treatments, but I understood that my root cause was not actually the cancer. It was that stress. It was that abusiveness, the abuse which I was doing to my body since years and years and years, and not understanding that it needed help. Then I slowly started to make this relationship, and how I did it was through nutrition, through mindfulness, really meditating, letting go, working on my mindset, doing yoga, and connecting with the breath, nature, and changing a lot of things about aspects about my lifestyle. And slowly and gradually, by 4 chemos, the cancer was absolutely gone. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. And, I got so confident, and I refused radiation. And since 2017, I'm living a cancer free life now.
Congratulations, my friend.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. So how important do you feel that diet is to this prevention of cancer?
The most important thing, like, if I have to tell you, 95% of the cancer is all lifestyle, and 5% is genetics. Like, you have really bad genes and you can't do anything. But even then, there is something called epigenetics, where you can actually reverse the environment which the genes are living in, so that you don't contract cancer. And how do you do that? By actually changing the environment, is through food and through your psyche, through your meditation, mindfulness, exercising, and nutraceuticals, taking certain supplementation, precision supplements. So can you imagine, right now in USA, 1700 people die every day because of cancer?
Whoa,
Every day. I mean, can you imagine the number?
that's a lot.
So that's a lot, and it includes children, and more younger people are contracting with cancer. And people, that, in spite of having such several advancements of cancer treatment, it is still a very difficult disease to live with. Like, imagine just having a diagnosis and you're like, okay, is my end near? I mean, though you are young, but the quality of life depletes.
Mhm.
The anxiety, the depression, and the treatments also give you so many other side effects. So prevention actually is the better deal out here. And I am so excited that we are talking about prevention, because people need to wake up to this epidemic in itself. Like,
Mhm.
by 2050, every second person in this planet is going to contract cancer. And can you imagine how torturous it is, how much financial stress it can cause?
Oh man.
So diet is extremely important. If a doctor tells you, if you go to a doctor and they tell you, what can I do? I mean, I have family history of cancer, etc. And they don't really do believe in it, but it's the inner environment. Remember, cancer cells live in an acidic environment and a less oxygen state. So how can you keep your inner environment alkaline? Is through diet, is through, bringing your state of mind in rest and digest state, etc., etc. So changing, I mean, everybody should look into having an anti-cancer prevention diet rather than once you get it and then you'll do changes. Sometimes you're not that lucky. Sometimes it's stage 4, and sometimes it's difficult to reverse. Not all cancers can be reversed completely, like certain brain tumors and etc. You have to live with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So why not take one step at a time and start from today itself to prevent that? I always give this analogy that, okay, a lot of people ask me, I've done everything, still I got cancer, still there are chances of getting cancer. But when you actually are driving, you will look left and right and you will be careful, right? You will not just bang and just go in full speed. You will be careful. And in accident, sometime, if it's not even your uh, it's not you, but somebody can still bang you. But so is it with the cancer? Yes, you have to take preventive measures, and if you have taken preventive measures and even still you have got contracted with cancer, there are you actually will take the treatment in much better picture, or in much better way. You will get the results faster, I feel. So prevention is extremely, extremely important when it comes to cancer.
Yeah. And you can imagine, as a collective, people started taking these preventative measures, especially starting with diet. Man, it would put the processed food companies out of business.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
everybody would be shopping in the produce department, looking at organic this, organic that, or growing their own foods. And yeah, it's. Do you see a precipice where that we're getting closer of a collective awakening, that people are starting to realize, whoa, these numbers are way too high, and what are my chances? There's people are starting to, are people starting to ask that and go, oh, man, we really need to collectively change this. What are your thoughts on the
Yeah, and
approach?
I've seen, especially after COVID, a lot of people have become health conscious. A lot of people are awakening to, oh God, what is happening? And especially with the influx of social media and channels like yours, and now people are opening up. Back then, not many people are actually spoke about it. People are fed up of, really, and they want things, they want their health to be absolutely in spick and span state of mind. Otherwise they won't be able to function longer.
Mhm.
They understand now that medicine is just a band-aid and not the real deal. So in order to heal, it's not only just the food, but as you said, the collective consciousness which is important. it, do you know that one healthy person in your family can actually inspire and make four others healthy by their choices? Because
Mm.
if you're bringing good food, and if you're thoughtful, if you're changing your lifestyle, if you're changing things in your kitchen, you will also impact other people's health. So yes, there is a great awakening and I'm very happy about it, but it should be in a faster pace and everybody should proactively do it.
Yeah, yeah. Um, let's talk about your book. I believe I got a picture up here that we can show so people get an idea what it looks like. Is that the one right
Thank
there?
you. Yeah.
You're welcome. You're welcome. The Healing Power Within. So this is people. Where can people find? First, before we move forward, is where can people find you? Even for those who are watching, it's scrolling down on the bottom of the screen. Where can people find you and find your book?
Yes, it's available on Amazon and on my website, and a few stores, I believe. So, but yeah, it's online, and just if you even if you can't find it, just ping me, or I have all my social media handles. Just let me know, and I can send you a copy for sure. So this book is very special to me. It took me 3 years to write it and pen down, because I really wanted to make a huge difference with this book, especially for the people who are going through cancer or even looking for prevention, because it talks about how, like, a simple human being like me can heal from all these diseases I was going through from cancer. And not only that, I've given scientific evidences in the book I've mentioned my diet, what I followed, and I've also given my case summaries of some of my clients I've worked with who are living a cancer-free life in spite of having stage 4 cancer. And also some experts interviews, naturopath interviews, their take on cancer and allopathy and conventional medicine. I believe now we should look into the integrative method, integrative oncology, where both of these worlds, there is a middle path, and both of these things come together in synchronously. The doctors, the healers, the holistic practitioners, they should work hand in hand to empower you and to bring you in a state of homeostasis and really true health, because health is actually everything. Like, it's, your body is your true best friend, and it's so magical, it's so powerful. You have everything inside you. The healing power is within. So please have that faith in your own system.
Yeah, and I really think that I haven't seen it much with some of the people that I've known who have battled cancer, that the general practitioners out there, the doctors that just want to feed you the medications, the mainstream pharmaceuticals, it doesn't seem like they're educated enough within the homeopathics and holistic wellness aspects of anything, or the alternative medicines. Meditation, yoga, tai chi, qigong. I mean, there's so many different modalities out there, and it's like they
Yeah.
don't. It's like none of them are open-minded about that. It's always
Yeah.
just pushing the mainstream treatments and conventional treatments. You
Yeah,
see
that's
that
like,
changing a little bit?
yeah, there are few doctors I know, integrative oncologists, who are changing the scene. I'm so happy about it.
Mm.
But there's a long way to go, you know. Still, a lot of, a lot of people, a lot of doctors are afraid that their license would be, if they prescribe anything other than medicine, their license would get hijacked.
Yeah.
So, it's a very scary thing, and people are afraid to talk a lot about it because they are always being watched. They're always
Uh,
being watched.
I think
Hmm.
I think yeah, there's other powers that be that I think are controlling that. You got all these big corporations, these huge
Yeah,
pharmaceutical corporations that are dictating laws,
yeah,
regulations, insurance companies. I mean, it's the insurance companies too that are dictating to the doctors how to treat their patients.
yeah. I mean, it's so. When you go to the doctor, I mean, I was new, like I moved just 2 3 years back in this country. When I go to the doctor and I tell I need these kind of tests, so why do you need them? I said, I am a nutritionist. I know my body. I want to get these tests done. Then, no, no, we won't do this, your insurance, etc. And they will give several reasons. And they have no mindset of, if there is inflammation, that they should also take their vitamin D levels, or they will just have very basic tests. They don't stress themselves.
Yeah.
I feel they don't stretch themselves. They really don't understand and sit with the patient and understand their deep rooted issues. I have never seen any doctors prescribing a diet. All they
Me
do
neither.
is restrict.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't teach diet.
Yeah.
You know, I think all the practitioners, such as yourself, many others out there, ought to get together, have some coalition, some alliance. Heck, I'd even help do that, and put together a schooling, an academy for you know the American Medical Association and any doctor that wants to take courses into holistic medicine or wellness, and to open up the horizon
Yeah.
and say, hey, do you want to know about this, and hear it out. That way they can share this stuff with their patients.
I hope so it comes. I mean, I will be so happy to be associated.
Mm,
There are functional doctors now. They're branching out and they're
yeah.
learning about functional medicine approach. But I think still, like, a lot of people who are poor, who are come from socio-economic backgrounds, like low social economic backgrounds, they don't know anything about it, and they trust the doctors, and whatever they say, they'll do. But the end of it, it's so they just come into this loop, and they start with one medication and then they just keep piling up. It's like a whole circle. One
Hmm.
problem starts, then the other problem starts, then medication, then the third problem will start, then medication. That's only what they can do about it.
Yeah, it seems like an industrial assembly line,
Yeah,
just over and over and over and over again. That's it. We're just we're treated as just a number, not just
yeah,
a patient and a human being. It's just, all right, here's the next one. Boom. All right, here you go. Boom, boom. They don't want
that's
to
so true.
test, they don't want to
Yeah,
test for all different types of things. And I think that's another thing too. It's like the healthcare systems are treating everybody the same when we're not the same. We're individuals. We have different chemistry.
yeah, I so love that. Yes, this analogy. We are bio individual. Every treatment should be based on a bio individual with regards to chemo and radiation also.
Yeah.
Not everyone needs to go on the same doses. Not everyone needs to go on the same protocol. And I'm so glad that I refused radiation and I told my doctor reduce the dose because I educated myself. Otherwise, I would have like 100% would have got more side effects, and I don't know what state would I have made. It's just because I empowered myself.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, what are some of the or some possible misconceptions, common misconceptions about cancer prevention?
Number one misconception is that people think that cancer cannot be prevented. Number one is that cancer can be prevented. It's actually more preventive than any other disease. It can be prevented. Like most cancers, especially hormonal based cancers, lung cancers, prostate cancer, and breast. And then did I talk about lymphomas?
Mm.
Can easily be preventive. And the number two thing which I feel is that on prevention is that genes cause cancer. That's something which is still in people's head. I generally think that people should come out of that mindset that genes dictate you or dictate your body. They do not dictate you. There is something called epigenetics, which is very informative science, and everybody should know. I mean, I feel that everybody should take their genome test to empower themselves and understand their own genes. And if there is a defective gene, that can also be repaired 80% of the time.
Mm.
Very 20% is okay, of course we can't, but still you can take care of it. So there are certain tests, and please get your, and the other thing which I would say is that take your routine tests, that inflammatory markers, ESR, CRP markers every twice in a year, homocysteine levels, so that you know where you are standing in terms of inflammation.
That's
So
interesting when you say homocysteine levels, because my mother's been asking the doctor, I'm about to go to the doctor soon, within the next month or so, and asking them that question. They don't want to test for it.
I know.
It's like, it's a simple test,
It's a simple
and
test.
it's a simple chemical test within the body, because that dictates all kinds of stuff, because especially cholesterol.
Yeah.
But it's, oh no, we don't want to test for it.
And
I'm
they
like,
just don't. They've, a horse, when he's running, he has these binders. That's how the doctors are. They do
yeah,
not want to see anything else. They are just in this closed bubble. And if somebody
yeah,
like me or you will tell them, and why do you need it? This is not a protocol. What is the protocol? Come on, like
right,
really?
yeah. And if the insurance doesn't cover it, how much does it cost? I'll pay out of pocket for the test. What do you
Yeah,
do? It's
I
almost like,
know.
yeah, it's almost like they don't want a challenge. They
They
don't
don't want to
want that
challenge.
challenge.
Yeah.
Like, wow,
True.
yeah. um. So we talked about stress, and how does stress impact the overall health and well-being, and obviously cancer prevention. I
Yeah.
mean, we're all stressful nowadays. It seems like it.
Yeah. So there are two kinds of stress, right? One is, some stress is good for the body. When you go and exercise, you stress your organs,
Mm.
you stress your, that's a good stress. Now if the stress, if you're overthinking, now I can vouch for myself, I was really stressed. Like, of course, my relationship was going out, and like I was so anxious about everything. I was like an overthinker, always thinking about my future, not living in the moment, not understanding, not even connecting with my breathing patterns. I was not even breathing properly until I started doing yoga. Like, my teacher said, oh, you're inhaling, you inhale, you should inflate, not deflate. So I was doing the opposite things, again, just in that flight, fight, freeze mode all the time. And that actually is one of the, when your vagus nerve is not when it's calmed down, and your inflammation starts to increase and increase and increase. And when cancer loves inflammation, cancer loves to be in that state of you being in high alert state all the time. So stress is one of the triggers of any kind of disease. It can be autoimmune conditions, it can be hormonal problems, it can be cancer, it can be any other cardiovascular disease. Now we have evidences, we have scientific evidences that stress does is one of the cofactors of triggering inflammation, triggering all these diseases. And it's very important to do daily strategies, like just do simple things every day to combat stress. We all are living in stressful environments, agreed. But every individual has a different capacity. You can take some stress better than I do. I can take certain kind of stress. So you need to understand, first of all, where are you getting stressed out? Where is your heart like really beating? Where can you not control your emotions? Which scenario? Just sit with yourself and understand what is going on internally. We don't even question ourselves. We don't want to go there.
Yeah.
And that's how, where a community comes in, they talk, or you talk, or you go to a therapist to understand, okay, I just didn't think about it. Yes, I am always in this state of where I am either judging someone, or I'm reacting. I'm just reacting and reacting. And that's not the way to live in this world. When you're in a reactive state of mind, your body will not come in that rest and digest phase. So it's important to combat stress in very simple ways. There's nothing which you can't do, your body can't achieve. You just have to give it simple pathways. And that's how I teach people how to connect with your breath. And breath work is number one stress releaser. When you connect with your breath, just doing simple yogic techniques, and
Yeah.
you will automatically start feeling one with yourself, in your body,
Yeah.
and being in the moment.
True mindfulness. And even some of the discussions I've had with past guests and people out away from this show too, it's it's a mindset. It seems like getting away from all this stress is, I'm guilty of it. I mean, we all stress out. We get a bad bill in the mail. Oh my God, something happens and we just crumble.
Yeah.
But then it's like you step back and go, take that deep breath in and just relax and go, all right, this is a sign of something. Don't freak out, and we're all guilty of it. And then as time passes, anywhere from an hour, a day, a week, you start to realize, wow, why did I stress out about that? It wasn't as bad
Yeah,
as it turned out to be.
true.
We put ourselves through all this BS, this crap that it's not worth it. But there's some people that's all they do. That's all they feel, is they build this stress up in themselves all the time, 24/7. Which leads me, then it segues into the next question, is how important do you feel rest, sleep, getting that rest and sleep? I'm guilty of, when I was in college, that's all I stayed up for days with very
Yeah.
little sleep. It's been a long time since I've done that anymore. How important do you feel that sleep is
Yeah.
with this as well?
Oh my God, I can't tell you how my. So I was doing this consult with this lady, and she's like, herself a beautiful astrologer, and she abused her body for 20 years by not
Whoa.
sleeping.
Eesh.
And now, in her 40s or 50s, I think late 40s, she's facing n number of health issues. So we don't understand when we are young that our body needs rest. We are just like to go, and we want overachievers and want to achieve. But what happens is your real body starts this new cells, everything starts, regeneration process starts when you rest, when you give your body some me time. Like, I also need to rest when your digestive system
Mm.
is at ease. Very important. No, gut health is the most important part, which often people miss out. When you sleep, you also slow down your thoughts. The real connection actually happens. Your cell starts to heal, your body starts to heal. Now, you're on an average, we need 7 to 8 hours of sleep, and it depends upon different person to person. So if you're not giving yourself enough time, enough sleep time, imagine it's like you're not healing yourself.
Yeah.
And when you don't heal, that compiles and compiles and compiles and compiles, and it, of course, it will, your body will start giving up
Yeah. Yeah. I've known
someday.
quite a few people. I've been in the same boat too. I used to work night shift for a good
Oh,
6 or 7 years,
oh,
and I started feeling it. I started feeling what it does to the body, and I still know people today that work a third shift, a midnight shift, and now years later they're having all kinds of health problems.
yeah.
And
I'm glad you are okay.
yeah, I was like, I gotta get away from this. I have to. There's no way. I gotta find
Right.
another position somewhere that I can change and work during the day. It's natural, and I don't know. It works for some people. Some people can function on that type of work shift. I can't. I mean,
Yeah.
there might be good nights and bad nights, but I don't know. It just naturally. What do you think? It's like that's not natural.
That's not natural. You're not in tune with your circadian rhythm. You're supposed, if you see in nature, take an example of a animal. How do they get up? First ray of the sunlight, they're up. And as it's dark, they're about to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Humans are supposed to be the same.
Yeah.
Now, with the lights and everything, our melatonin levels are not getting secreted at night because we are always on the blue light, on the mobile phones and all. So our mind is not directed to sleep, and we sleep late. A lot of issues start happening when people start sleeping late. Their gut problems. One of the most important thing to, if one thing which you want to take away from this podcast is change your circadian rhythm. Like, really get up early in the morning. And according to Ayurveda, your detox starts from 6 o'clock to 12 o'clock. That's when the sun rises, starts to rise. That's how your body wakes up. And 12 o'clock is the, like, the peak time, the Agni time, when the sun is at the peak. So
Yeah.
your digestive power is the most.
Mm.
And once the sun starts to set in, that's how your Agni, like the fire, starts to extinguish.
Yeah.
That means that's time to sleep, and the moon rises. So you generally, people eat after 6 7 o'clock. That's something which you should avoid. Your
Mm.
digestion should actually, you should give, if you are in your 20s, I say, I always live by this rule. If you're in 30s, give 3 hours gap between your sleep and eating. If you're in your 40s, 4 hours. If you're in your 50s, 5 hours. So if you start living, and you also go out in the sun to take that sun energy in your eyes, on your face, on your body. That's how you will also improve your vitamin D, and also a lot of functions are dependent on sun. If you're not going out, and you will also not sleep well. Lots of people are
Yeah.
having sleep epidemic these days because, hell, law, we are not connecting with nature anymore.
Yeah. I heard something not too long ago. I think it was on the radio or something, about the overuse of sunglasses.
Yeah.
That depending
Yes.
on there's some sunglasses out there that are so dark, and I know people that wear the darkest ones and they wear them all the time. That there are times that we should just take them off. Let the sun get in there. It's supposed to happen. Because
Very true.
apparently now it's starting to cause excessive use of sunglasses are now starting to cause a lot of chronic issues.
True. Absolutely. And I agree with you. Sunglasses plus sunscreen. Overuse of sunscreen,
Yeah.
right? I feel it's just because first of all it's chemicals, so I believe in having as natural things as possible on your body, because your skin is the largest organ in your
Mm-hmm.
same goes with eyes. If you're not taking in sun, you're not taking your eyes. First thing in the morning you get up and you see the screen, oh my god, I can't tell you what, like the blue light you're taking in, the radiation you're taking in. You should go out and connect. You've seen ever any animals losing their sight, ever, or any animal using sunscreen? They don't get skin cancers, they don't get cancers. I mean, of course, now when they're living in certain environment, but the pets who are actually not going out get cancers. So it's important, like it is so overused. The sunscreen is just like a jargon now. There people are promoting it because, of course, it's become another industry in itself, and
Mm-hmm.
sunglasses also.
Yeah.
But you need to be mindful about it. Okay, I'm going to use sunscreen at the peak time when it's too much, but other time, if it's like between 6 o'clock and 9 o'clock, or if it's later in the day, you do not need sunscreen.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you're living on the equator and it's noontime, yeah, put a little bit on. But yeah, it's definitely overused. It's a commercialized product.
Yeah.
And what do companies do? They're in business to make money. That's what it is. That's all it is.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, they don't care about what ingredients they put in, and like, so much of chemicals and phthalates and all these parabens go into it. And people are, I mean, I'm glad that there are brands who are more sustainable and are more clean these times. But they should be people. We need to be aware. We need to wake up and demand good products. That's how things will change, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. I wanted to go a little bit back. I was going to ask this earlier, but I was like, I wanted to segue into something else. But I want to go back a little bit when it comes to diet. Um, I've traveled. I wouldn't say I've traveled the world, but I've been around.
Yeah.
And I've been to some other countries, Asia, not India yet, not parts of Europe yet. That's on my bucket list. But I've been to a lot of cultures and experienced their diets and how they cook,
Yeah.
how they prepare, and not to give too much medical or as a medical disclaimer or something like that as an approach, but traditionally there are
Mm-hmm.
many different ingredients, spices, herbs that have been known
Mm-hmm.
to prevent cancer.
Yeah.
Different curries are known to
Yep.
do turmeric,
Yes.
curcumin.
Yes.
What are some of the common ones aside from those and stuff like that that have been known to help ward
Yeah.
off
Thank you for asking this question. It's a very interesting one. Okay. So, do you know about Tulsi, holy basil?
holy basil? I've heard of, yes.
Yeah. It is generally found in India, but now, I mean, in over here in New York, we also grow. That's actually a natural chemo. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah.
Huh.
So I've mentioned it in my book. So one of the naturopaths, Dr. Raj Marjan, he actually makes this whole beautiful, taking thousands and thousands of leaves and really extracting juice out of it and giving it to cancer patients. And a lot of people have got relief out of it. Like it's a natural chemo.
Hmm.
That's a prevention of cancer. Very good. One thing which I would also say is taking things like anti-inflammatory things like cinnamon in your diet.
Hmm.
Having it comes from Sri Lanka, the real nice, beautiful Ceylon
Yeah, the
green
Ceylon.
tea,
Yeah.
matcha
Mhm.
tea coming from Japan is also now everybody knows that it reduces your chances of cancer. And there are an n number of other herbs which you can add to spirulina, to adding wheatgrass juices, any green form of juices which have a lot of chlorophyll in it,
Hmm.
helps your hemoglobin levels to rise up, reduces the anemic qualities like the low blood counts and stuff. And plus chlorophyll is like the plants live on chlorophyll for so many other processes. We also need chlorophyll to cleanse the system. Like detoxing is extremely important when it comes to cancer prevention, because we live in a pool of chemicals.
Yeah.
So all of these herbs, taking different herbs, will definitely help you clear out those toxins, plus also give you a lot of anti-inflammatory things. Things like mushrooms, different forms of mushrooms.
Yeah. And you said you
So
touch a little bit about this in your book as well, correct?
yes,
Yeah.
I have
Cool. Cool.
absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Um, so again, where can they find you?
Yes, I'm available on Instagram, Shruti underscore Sethi underscore. My website is called avanahealth.com. I'm on Facebook, YouTube, all the social media channels you can find me on.
Cool. Cool. Now, when someone goes to the website, what can they expect to find and as far as navigation?
Yeah, so we have different programs for cancer, plus for other conditions. It can be like autoimmune conditions, thyroid. We treat a lot of thyroid patients. We also help people come out of the autoimmune conditions, arthritis, cardiovascular diseases, high BP, cholesterol, or any kind of heart related issues. People who have fertility problems, like who want to naturally actually conceive. We've helped a lot of women as well, and generally people who really want to just prevent cancer, and they have a lot of cancer in their family and they want preventive measures. We also have an anti-cancer lifestyle program. So, and cancer is like, of course, something people who are going through surgery, chemo, radiation, and people who are thinking, or people who have relapses.
Mm.
A lot of people, like 40% of the people can have relapses. So we have a relapse program, and people a detox cancer program. So anybody who has these treatments, remember, there will be toxic elements in your body, so you need to get rid of it and target those stem cells. So it's important for you to look into strategies and help you to remain cancer free.
Yeah. Yeah. Detox. Detox, cleansing, yeah, flushing all the toxins out of the system, and then kind of
Yeah.
like building back up health and these healthy habits, and
Yes.
very important. So before we wrap up the show, what would you like to offer as a takeaway for our audience, some words of wisdom?
I would say just don't wait for anything drastic to happen in your life. I know it's like, as humans, until and unless we are pushed to the edge, we don't start anything, or we don't do anything. But take examples like cancer. I'm telling you, it's just growing, and when you see the statistics, it's just very alarming. Please do something about it. Your health is in your hands. Take the responsibility today so that you don't have to end up in the hospital tomorrow. Start from now, whatever 2 or 3 steps. Start with hydration first thing in the morning, either lemon water. Please don't start with coffee, tea, any acidic food. People just start away
Yep.
with that. Second, add anti-inflammatory herbs, four herbs every day in your diet. And obviously, third thing I would do is take care of your movement and stress.
Mm. Yeah, that is very, very, very well said. Man, you have a lot of knowledge, and namaste. Thank you very much for joining us today. to
Thank
talk
you
about this
for giving
very.
me this opportunity. It's like it's an honor and pleasure because even if one or two people are listening to it and
Mhm.
they change, it's like for me, it's like a validation.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's what we do.
yeah.
Uh,
Oh, and that's the thing. We have to educate people. You know,
yeah.
it's we can't listen to. I mean, we can listen to the mainstream corporate establishment type, stuff out there. But it's like we can't wait until we're sick. And for anybody out there who just feels that, how do you feel today? Are you starting to feel? Do you feel like you're the same person you did a year ago, 2 years ago? If you don't feel better, it's not going to get better. you
Absolutely.
know?
It's so well said. And I want to add on to this. When I started doing this, I feel so healthy in my 40s. I'm in my 40s now versus my 30s or 20s. You would not, you just have to cross that barrier, that mindset that, you know, with discipline, with this belief, you can achieve miracles.
hmm
Believe me.
Yeah. Yeah. And the older we get, it ain't, that's the thing too. It's like we got to realize the older we get, it ain't going to get any better. It's
Yeah,
all in here. I mean,
absolutely.
the better,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
the mind power and stuff like that, but our health
Yeah.
isn't necessarily going to get better as we get older. I'm pushing 50 and
Oh, you don't look like 50.
I good genes.
No, it's not genes. Come on. We're not blaming the genes. Don't give the credit to your genes.
Right. I get it from my mother. And but it's like, and I feel it too. It's like every now and then it's like you got to pay attention. How do you feel? Where is
Yeah,
this feeling coming from? Where, what is it about the body that
true,
it's like, and then you jump on it and go, okay, what can I do? What can I do naturally to attack this?
true.
And vitamins, minerals, and stuff like that. It's like,
Yeah.
go to the gym, do this, be active. Too many people sitting on the couch watching episode after episode and episode of, I ain't gonna name it because I don't promote it. But whatever show it is, hours and hours and days, and it's like, get up, be active.
Yeah.
You know,
Sometimes
yeah,
people need a push, and that's how building communities, doing this podcast is so important, right?
yeah,
They just need a
yeah.
push. They don't know where to start from.
No, no, and this is the start. This podcast is the start. That's
Yeah,
why I created it, to help anybody and everybody out there that has whatever it is, whatever problem it is, and sometimes it doesn't have to be a problem. It just might be a
true.
link to that next journey in someone's life.
Yeah.
So, but Shruti, namaste, my friend. Thank you. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much. Thank you so much.
You are very, very welcome. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on the Seance Before the Veil. And until next time, we'll see you then.